After 2 rounds of competition, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that the Bassmaster Georgia Top 100 is a test for the best. Only 39 5-bass limits scored so far, and 561 fish weighed in. A pair of Arkansas-based pros topped the Jersey's activewear leaderboard. Mike Worm of Hot Springs has 21 pounds 1 ounce, followed by Jerry Williams of Conway with 19 pounds 4 ounces. Claude Fishburne ranks third, just ounces ahead of Bernie Schultz and Joe Thomas.
Both tournament leaders learned their bassing lessons on the same Arkansas lake, and it's a fall pattern that's working here, as Mike Worm explains.
Follow the year on Lake Ouachita, we do the same thing I'm doing here in this tournament right now. And I'm following the fish up into creek channels, and I'm fishing the creek channels. Really, I'm using 2 different kinds of lures. One's jig and spoon, one's a Carolina rig, and that's basically my 1-2 punch. The shad in the fall all seem to go up the creek channels, and so where the shad goes, so go the bass. And it's like that in the fall just about all over the country. That's the first thing they do is migrate up in the creeks. And they follow these creek channels as migratory routes. And then you get to the channel swings or the channel bends, and there's a drop on every one of them. And the particular one I'm fishing has a long bar off of it that's relatively clear of cover, but then on the end it's got standing timber that you can't see on the surface, but you can on your depth finder. And I've been holding my boat in position where I can jig a spoon over that clear bottom and also throw a Carolina rig. And if they get real cold and real tight, they'll group up, and that's when the jigging spoon works good.
Jerry Williams has zeroed in on a similar spot in Coldwater Creek.
And basically, it's just a small little point that creek channel bends into. And it's not noticeable because the creek channel's in the timber. And the point is flat and bare, and there's nothing, no structure on it. They're holding on just bare sand, I think it is. The fish are moving up on it, feeding and moving off. They were there the first day, you know, not real big fish, but 2-pound fish. And today, the little ones were there. The big ones didn't move up. I think they were trying to move up as we was leaving. So just have to go out tomorrow morning, and hopefully there'll be some fish on that. But I'm going to stay there all day if I don't get a bite.
The final round of the Georgia Top 100. And tournament leader Mike Worm finds conditions different, as Bassmaster's TV reporter Tim Miller explains.
Our leader, Mike Worm, is fishing off an extended point that goes out into a creek channel drop. You can see from the bank going across that marker about 125 yards out there is Mike Worm. He's fishing about a cast length just before the point goes into the creek channel. What you're going to learn from Mike Worm now is how to follow and pattern bass in a small select area. This morning, Mike started fishing a Carolina rig, shallow, just like he did yesterday. But those bass weren't there. Same fish he was catching yesterday afternoon. So he picked up his jigging spoon, moved out the point to a little bit deeper water, and he's catching bass. It's cold out here today. The wind is blowing out of the north at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Sky is partly cloudy. Fishing is going to be a grind.
But today, for some reason, they're not there. I think the front has moved them out to this deeper water. I'm out here now at 30 feet. And I'm jigging this spoon right up and down off the bottom, about a couple of foot off the bottom. And I think they probably pulled out because of the weather and got in this deeper water. I've seen them on the depth finder, a couple of blips just off the bottom. Hopefully there'll be a few more and we can get 5 out of
them. Jerry Williams has located a key structure in this creek, a flat point next to the deeper channel.
I got a flat point that's coming out here. Creek channel comes in over here where you see the timber bends, makes a bend right out here. Fish coming out of the creek channel coming up on the side of this point feed. I hope. They bend 17 feet deep. There's one. Look out. Just back off. That's a good start.
There's a good chance Mike Worm has located the bass bunched up. Holding over the spot in open water is the trick.
I'm lining up my spot using my depth finder and of course the trees on the bank. I'm lining up that post and that tree. That's where I've caught the last 2, so that's where we're going to kind of hang around here for a minute. They're not real aggressive taking this spoon though. Lots of times when you're jig fishing or jigging a spoon like this, they're aggressive and they'll thump it real hard. To jerk it up off the bottom, it'll just jerk your rod down when they hit it hard. But these fish are just barely taking the spoon. There's one. What it's imitating is a crippled or a dying shad, and you know, in the cold weather, cold water really affects shad, and they get stunned almost. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what it's representing, and that's what the fish are keying on. Never mind.
Jerry Williams is using the same spoon jigging technique.
It's a cotton cordell spoon, 3/4 ounce. I'm trying to make it look like a dying shad.
But it's his partner, Jim Guy, in the back of the boat who's getting the bites now. The amateur anglers are paired with the pros, but fish in their own division. There's a $20,000 Ranger OMC bass rig going to the winning amateur. And there's no better way to pick up some bass and know-how. For sure, Buzz Merritt has been listening to Mike Worm's seminar on spoon jigging.
Oh, I need that one. If I could snare wearing that one, I better drift back a little bit.
Mike Worm is covering every inch of this point, every piece of cover, everything he can do to try to find that fifth fish.
Good. That's a good. Come here, help me. Yeah. Don't come off, baby. Don't come off. Don't worry about getting your hand in his mouth. Just get him in the boat. Oh, that's a good. Get him the first time. You won't get another chance. Get him. All right. Yeah. Horn scared you, did he leaned on the horn. I thought he was going to jump out of the boat.
Mike Worm's traveled the Bassmaster tournament trail for 6 years. He's been in the limelight, but never the spotlight. This time, however, he's the star of the show.
He's won it, folks. He won it. 10 pounds, 2 ounces. He won it all. Woo! Congratulations, man. I am so proud of you.
Well, that's the story. Mike Worm with 31 pounds, 3 ounces, the Georgia Top 100 winner, worth $45,000, and he earned it. Mike weighed in a 5 bass limit each day, and so did Woo Daves, who jumped from 6th place to claim runner-up honors. Claude Fishburne ranks 3rd, followed by Dion Hibden and Bernie Schultz. Jerry Williams slips to 8th place. His hot spot cooled off today. In the amateur division, Buzz Merritt, with 3 bass from the back of Mike Worm's boat, wins it. His 3-day total, 11 pounds, 5 ounces.
Just get him in the boat. Oh, that's a good one. Get him the first time, you won't get another chance.
Right now, it's time for the Pros Pointer, the tournament champion's winning tip. Brought to you by Wrangler Rugged Wear. Geared for the outdoors.
Today I utilized a jigging spoon in winning this tournament here in Elberton. A jigging spoon is a very deadly weapon in the fall when bass are migrating up the creeks following the schools of shad as they migrate. You vertical jig it below the boat in deep water. When I get water up to 30 feet, I like to use a 1/2 ounce. It's got a nice flutter to it. If I get over 30 feet, though, I'll go to a 3/4 ounce spoon so I can feel it better as it gets in the deeper water. At certain times, you might want to use a different colored spoon, or you might want to use a different size. The different size can come into play when the shad that the bass are chasing are the smaller size shad than the big spoons. Another tip I like to use that really gives your spoon more action is a split ring. A split ring on the eye of this jigging spoon will give it more freedom as it's bouncing off the bottom and give it a lot more flutter as it's falling down. With a jigging spoon, you don't really need to make a long cast because you're vertical jigging. A long cast with a spoon just does nothing but help hang you up. So you do just a vertical cast. You just kind of flip it out and let it sink to the bottom. And you're going to vertical jig this thing. So I'm letting it free fall to the bottom. Now, that's all you need to do to impart action on this lure is to jerk it a quick snap up with your wrist to give you all the action to that jigging spoon that you need. You can do it with either hand. It's pretty easy to do. I like to keep my thumb on the line so I can increase my feel of the line. All your jigging spoon bites will come on the drop of the spoon as it's falling back toward the
Next week, the Bassmaster Tournament Trail moves upriver to Lake Hartwell for the Georgia Bassmaster Invitational. Same river system, same conditions. But if you think it's another spoon jigging tournament, you'd better tune in to find out why not. For the Bassmasters, I'm Bob Cobb. See you all next week, right here on TNN Outdoors.
The Bassmasters